Do you ever feel as though the events in your life are more than just coincidence? Moments of clarity, unexpected opportunities, or a deep sense of being guided towards something greater. These could be signs of miracles happening in your life. Miracles that whisper of God's hand at work, gently guiding you toward your unique purpose. Being chosen by God isn't a matter of luck or chance. It's a divine calling. When God chooses you, He equips you with extraordinary gifts, spiritual powers designed specifically for the mission He has entrusted to you. These gifts aren't just for your benefit, but are meant to uplift, inspire, and transform the lives of those around you. Think about it. Your life is not a random collection of events, but a masterpiece intricately designed by the Creator of the universe. Every joy, every struggle, every victory, it's all part of a divine plan meant to shape you into the person God knows you can be. So, as you listen to this message today, take a moment to reflect. What are the miracles unfolding in your life? How is God calling you to step into your purpose? And most importantly, how can you use the gifts He has given you to make a lasting impact? If this message resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Power with an Awakening, where we explore profound truths like these every week. Drop a 999 in the comments below as a sign of your faith in God's plan and your commitment to fulfilling your purpose. Be sure to watch this video until the end. It might just hold the key to unlocking the next step in your journey. And if you feel this message could touch someone's heart, share it with a friend. You never know how far one act of kindness can go in God's grand design. The first power God has given you is the power of insight, the divine ability to perceive deeper truths and discern what lies beyond the surface. This gift allows you to make wise decisions and uncover hidden realities that others might overlook. As Proverbs 2:6 declares, "For the Lord gives wisdom, from His mouth come knowledge and understanding." Well, consider the story of Solomon, one of the greatest examples of divine insight in the Bible. When Solomon became king, he could have asked God for wealth, long life, or victory over his enemies. Instead, he prayed for wisdom to lead his people with justice and understanding. God not only granted his request, but gave him extraordinary insight and discernment, which became a blessing not just for him, but for all of Israel. One of the most famous accounts of Solomon's wisdom is the judgment of the two mothers. Two women came before him, each claiming to be the mother of the same baby. Faced with what seemed to be an impossible situation, Solomon proposed a shocking solution: to divide the baby in two and give each woman half. In that moment, the true mother revealed herself, offering to give up her child rather than see him harmed. Solomon's divine insight allowed him to see the truth where others could not, resolving the conflict with profound wisdom and fairness. This story teaches us that divine insight isn't just about knowledge. It's about applying understanding in ways that bring justice, peace, and harmony. Just as Solomon sought God's guidance, you too can ask for His wisdom in your daily life. Whether you're making difficult decisions, navigating relationships, or facing challenges, God's insight can help you discern the truth and act with clarity and righteousness. The second power God has given you is the power of creation, the ability to bring new ideas, solutions, and beauty into existence. Genesis 1:27 reminds us, "So God created mankind in His own image." Being made in the image of the Creator means we share in His capacity to innovate and create. This is a profound gift, one that enables us to reflect His divine creativity in our own lives. A powerful example of this is Bezalel, the artisan whom God chose to build the tabernacle. In Exodus 3:1-3, God says, "I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with wisdom, with understanding, with knowledge, and with all kinds of skills." Bezalel's work was not just about craftsmanship, it was about infusing his creations with spiritual meaning and purpose. Every detail of the tabernacle was designed to symbolize God's presence among His people. Bezalel's creativity became an act of worship, a way to glorify God and serve His higher purpose. Like Bezalel, you have the power to create things that reflect God's beauty and wisdom. Whether you are designing a piece of art, solving a complex problem, building a business, or working for social change, your creations can carry divine inspiration. They can serve as instruments of hope, healing, and transformation in a world that so desperately needs them. Your creative abilities are not random. They are gifts from God meant to make the world a better place. When you create with purpose, guided by His Spirit, your work becomes more than just a product. It becomes a reflection of God's love and presence in the world. Take a moment to reflect on these two gifts, the power of insight and the power of creation. How are you using them in your life today? And how might God be calling you to develop these powers further for His glory and the good of others? The third power God has given you is the power of resilience, the strength to endure and thrive in the face of challenges. Resilience is not just about surviving hardships, it's about transforming them into stepping stones toward your higher purpose. Philippians 4:13 reminds us, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." One of the most profound biblical examples of resilience is the story of Job. Job endured immense suffering, losing his wealth, health, and family in a series of devastating events. Despite his pain and the misunderstanding of those around him, Job refused to curse God or abandon his faith. His steadfastness in the midst of unimaginable trials exemplifies what it means to trust in God's plan, even when life feels overwhelming. Job's story is more than a tale of endurance. It's a testimony to the transformative power of faith and resilience. In the end, God restored Job's fortunes, blessing him with twice as much as he had before. This divine restoration highlights a vital truth. Resilience rooted in faith not only helps us endure but leads to ultimate victory. Like Job, you can face life's challenges with the assurance that God's strength will sustain you and His plans will prevail. When you lean on God's promises, even the most difficult circumstances become opportunities for growth. Each hardship can refine your character, deepen your faith, and prepare you for the greater blessings God has in store. Remember, resilience is not found in human strength alone, but in the boundless grace and power of God working through you. The fourth power God has given you is the power of influence, the ability to inspire, guide, and impact the lives of others. Influence is not about authority or control. It's about leading by example, living with integrity, and letting your light shine so that others are drawn closer to God. As Matthew 5:16 says, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." A powerful example of influence is Queen Esther. Chosen by God for a pivotal moment in history, Esther used her position as queen to save the Jewish people from destruction. Despite the immense personal risk, she approached the king, exposed Haman's plot, and courageously advocated for her people. Esther's influence, combined with her wisdom and bravery, not only saved lives but changed the course of history. Esther's story teaches us that influence is a divine responsibility. Whether you hold a prominent position or quietly impact those in your immediate circle, your actions and decisions matter. Influence isn't about the size of your platform. It's about the depth of your commitment to living out God's truth. Your influence can inspire others to pursue justice, compassion, and righteousness. Whether in your family, workplace, or community, you have the power to encourage others to walk in faith and align their lives with God's will. Like Esther, your willingness to act with courage and conviction can create ripples of change, bringing light and hope to a world in need. As you reflect on these powers, resilience and influence, consider how God might be calling you to use them in your own life. How can your faith sustain you in times of trial? And how might your words, actions, and choices inspire others to grow closer to God? The fifth power God has given you is the power of healing, a divine ability that extends beyond physical restoration to encompass emotional and spiritual renewal. Healing is about bringing wholeness and harmony to those who are broken, hurting, or lost. James 5:16 reminds us, "Pray for each other so that you may be healed." Jesus, the ultimate healer, demonstrated this power time and time again during his ministry. His acts of healing were not just miracles of physical restoration, but profound expressions of love, mercy, and divine power. When he healed the leper, the centurion's servant, or Peter's mother-in-law, he didn't just restore their health. He restored their dignity, hope, and place in society. Each healing carried a deeper message. God's kingdom was breaking into the world, bringing life, renewal, and redemption. This same power is accessible to you. Through your compassion, prayers, and acts of kindness, you can become a vessel of God's healing for others. Whether it's comforting someone in grief, offering a listening ear to someone in distress, or simply showing love to someone who feels unseen, your actions can bring restoration and peace. Healing is not limited to miraculous acts. It's found in every moment where love and care meet brokenness. When you allow God to work through you, you participate in His mission to bring wholeness to a fractured world. You don't need to be perfect to offer healing. You simply need to be willing. Through your faith and compassion, God can transform lives, renewing hearts and spirits in ways you may not even realize. The sixth power God has given you is the power of foresight, the ability to see the potential and consequences of future events. Proverbs 29:18 declares, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." Foresight is more than prediction. It's about planning and preparing for the future with wisdom, discernment, and trust in God's guidance. One of the greatest examples of foresight in the Bible is Noah. God warned Noah about the coming flood and gave him detailed instructions to build an ark that would save his family and preserve creation. Despite the mockery and disbelief of those around him, Noah trusted God's message and acted with faith and diligence. His obedience and foresight had the survival of humanity and the animal kingdom, securing a future in alignment with God's plan. Noah's story teaches us the importance of listening to God's voice, even when it seems countercultural or difficult. Foresight involves more than understanding. It requires action. It's about aligning your decisions and efforts with God's purposes, trusting that His wisdom surpasses human understanding. In your own life, foresight can empower you to make wise choices and prepare for what lies ahead. Whether it's planning for your family's future, making ethical decisions in your work, or guiding others in times of uncertainty, foresight allows you to act with intentionality and purpose. By seeking God's direction and trusting His plans, you can navigate the challenges of life with confidence and clarity. As you reflect on these gifts, the power of healing and the power of foresight, consider how you can use them to serve God and others. How can your words and actions bring restoration to those in need? And how can your vision and preparation help you align with God's greater plan for your life? The seventh and final power God has given you is the power of spiritual connection, the ability to stay close to Him and live in alignment with His will. This connection is what grounds you in His love, strengthens you in times of need, and guides you toward your divine purpose. As Jesus said in John 15:5, "I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me, and I in you, you will bear much fruit." A strong spiritual connection is essential for a life of faith and purpose. It is not just a one-time event, but a continuous relationship that deepens over time through prayer, worship, and study of God's Word. This connection allows you to hear His voice, follow His guidance, and bear fruit that reflects His glory. Moses provides one of the most compelling examples of spiritual connection in the Bible. His relationship with God was marked by intimacy and trust. From encountering God in the burning bush to receiving the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai, Moses maintained a direct and personal connection with the Creator. This connection enabled him to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, guide them through the wilderness, and remain steadfast in the face of enormous challenges. Moses didn't rely on his own strength or wisdom. Instead, he sought God's guidance constantly, allowing God's presence to empower and direct him. His spiritual connection was the foundation of his leadership and the source of his resilience. Similarly, your connection with God can sustain you in your journey, providing clarity, strength, and peace as you navigate life's uncertainties. To cultivate this connection, dedicate time each day to prayer, reading scripture, and worship. These practices are not mere rituals but sacred moments of communion with God. Through them, you can experience His presence, gain wisdom for your decisions, and draw strength for your challenges. A life rooted in spiritual connection is a life that bears lasting fruit for God's kingdom. These 7 powers: insight, creation, resilience, influence, healing, foresight, and spiritual connection are profound gifts from God entrusted to you to fulfill your divine purpose. They are not just traits to admire but tools to actively develop and use for His glory. When embraced and nurtured, these powers enable you to live a life that reflects God's love, wisdom, and light. As Jesus said in Matthew 5:14 and 16, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. You are chosen by God to make a profound impact on the world. Your light is unique, and the world desperately needs the brilliance of God shining through you. Take a moment to reflect on these powers in your own life. Which ones do you feel God calling you to develop further? How can you use these gifts to glorify Him and serve others? Remember, these powers are not static. They grow and evolve as you commit yourself to God's purpose through prayer, devotion, and intentional practice. As you continue your journey, think of each decision and action as an opportunity to express these divine gifts. In doing so, you become a living testimony of God's love and grace, shining His light into the lives of those around you. Before we part, I want to thank you for taking the time to engage with this message. If you found it meaningful, I invite you to join our community by subscribing to Power Within Awakening. Your support means the world and helps spread messages of faith, hope, and purpose to others. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might need it, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue to grow together, nurturing the divine power within us. Until next time, may God's blessings guide and empower you every step of the way. Take care and stay connected to your Creator.